Hey guys, thanks for being here. Teaching Tuesdays brought to you by Virtual REI Academy, and it's basically just a virtual platform. And we have extensive library of documents and audio resources, some courses just to help investors be successful. The Virtual REI Academy has over like 15 experienced investors on the site, and with over 30 years of experience. The common denominators is we're all practitioners. We're all actually practicing real estate and not just saying that we're practicing real estate. So we're trying to bring you different topics just to keep some different things, different ideas. Tonight we have the pleasure and the honor of Jose Garcia, aka the Mobile Home King. So I met Jose in 2020 during COVID. We've partnered on one small deal, and then that kind of grew into a nice relationship. As well as we also own a recording studio in Tampa. So we've worked together on some odd deals, some good deals, some mobile home deals, and a studio, and we're pretty good partners and friends, and things are going well. And Jose's actually a visionary investor who has unlocked the potential of mobile homes and carved out like this extraordinary little niche in that industry, which you don't think about. Nicole does mobile home parks. Jose also will do some parks, but he's actually got a nice little niche with single mobile homes and how to turn that into wealth. So without further ado, my business partner and friend, Jose Garcia.
Good evening, and thank you, Jane, for that sweet introduction. Can y'all hear me okay? I kind of got a loud fan going in the back. Any noise? Y'all good?
That's good.
Sounds
Good deal. It got warm in here. We lost power earlier, so we're gonna make it. But well, thank you. It's an honor to be on here. First time on here actually, so I hope to keep coming on here. But again, thank you, Jane, for bringing me. As Jane mentioned, we've known each other for a little while now, so things are going, great things are happening. So we're definitely staying connected. But about me, so I am a mobile home investor. I coach, I mentor, I do just about everything you can in the space of mobile homes. We're always trying to incorporate a lot more, be more creative, more extra strategies, and of course, teach it to a lot of people as well. We have events that we host on there, but getting started 7 years ago was nothing more than I had no money. I had no connections. I didn't understand networking, and then being an introvert didn't really help, which a lot of people find it hard to believe that I was once upon a time an introvert, but I was. So no, it's fine. It's fine, Casey. So starting out, it was more so of, and I remember I Googled how to get wealthy, how to get rich. And I saw so many things, options, and of course over my head, but I kept seeing real estate. And then I started searching some wealthy people, and they seemed like all were into real estate somehow. So I thought, well, then that's the way to go. Real estate it is. Again, no money, no funding, no network, no being an introvert. It's like, trying to come up with 100,000 X amount, not knowing what you're doing. It just seemed like almost so far reached, impossible. I would talk to a few people here and there, and they would mention, oh, that's actually a decent deal. I think you can do something with that. But no money, again. So somewhere in there, I stumbled upon, let me do what I'm trying to do with mobile homes. Almost giving up, I thought. Now, I was brought up in a mobile home, but I didn't know how to rehab one. But I thought, well, let me try to do the same thing. My goal was to be a landlord. For whatever reason, 7 years ago, I wanted to be a landlord. So I started searching, where can I buy mobile homes? Where are the most mobile homes? And then communities started popping up, trailer parks, mobile home parks, all the names you hear about. Which, depends on where you're at in the nation. You go up north, it's more one thing. You come south, it's a different thing. So Florida, it's all communities. It's the most beautiful communities you've seen. But I started calling. I'd love to go back and hear what I was saying, because I got so many no's. I mean, you're talking about getting discouraged. You already don't know what you're doing. And people tell you, no, they hang up, go away, the whole thing. But somewhere in there, a community park manager said, sure, we got a few that are actually fixer-uppers. You can come and check out, hearing that, yes, sure. It was almost like surprising, like really, first thing next morning, I was there. I was ready to take them on, check them out. I'm doing all this while I was in corporate America. terrible, by the way. I was a logistics manager for Ryder, one of the biggest integrated logistics companies. Thought the chain, climbing up there was good, but more responsibility, same pay or less was not going to work out. So I found that one community, that one mobile home, and it was go time. I started hiring contractors, which I realized very quickly, even though contractors are some of the hardest workers in America, they don't like to work or they don't show up. So I kept spinning. I say I hired about 10 crews, but 7 of them never showed up. So I'm not really sure they were ever hired. So kept spinning. Well, now I knew enough handyman work to, the more I thought about that one mobile home, I thought I can rehab it myself. I can fix it. Common sense, right? If it's broken, if it's torn up, fix it. And it kind of goes with that. Now, I don't know electrical. I'm not licensed in none of that. So I didn't try to do that. But what I started doing was subcontracting electrical or plumbing, more so to kind of come verify, make sure everything's up to par. To my luck, everything checked out. It was simple, more so cosmetics. So there I am fixing mobile home number 1. I'm in there by myself. No more handyman. I got it on my own, right? Family, friends, they don't help a lot when you're trying to do something they don't understand. You don't understand it very well, so you can't really explain it either. But along with all my what if thoughts, they had their naysaying, they had their what if. So, I kept going. I kept going, definitely very discouraged more towards the end. Who's actually going to want this thing? Nobody cares for it. I finished it. I was finished. I was going to rent it and be done with it. I didn't need that anymore. But there was something about that when I did get finished. I put it on the market. And by putting it on the market, I simply put a for rent sign on. That was me putting it on the market. A couple of weeks go by, nobody's calling, nobody, none of that sort of thing. So, but now a couple calls start coming in. A couple calls, somebody's interested, they want to see it. We'll go out there. We had a very nice couple who were actually thinking about buying a house, maybe building, and they were trying to work on their credit. So they saw my mobile home, renting it as an opportunity to be there, build their credit, get some money, etc. And they did exactly that. Receiving that first deposit, that's where the light bulb went out. It's like, so this can work. Takes work, takes effort, like anything else. If it's worth it, it's not going to be easy. But so I said, well, let me go ahead and get another one. We'll just do the same thing. And sure enough, did another one. That first year, I ended up doing 10 by myself. I was rehabbing, I was fixing them, making them livable, putting them on the market. So that first year was my 10 mobile homes. I was officially a landlord. Now, I learned quickly also that tenants tend to call you at the worst times, family times, dinner times, vacation times. They have something leaking or something ain't working. And of course, being a one-man show, I had to stop what I'm doing to go out there. So, it was very good learning lessons because all that taught me a lot more. In there in the mix, I was still trying to dive into real estate, still trying to, at one point even sell them all and let me buy a house. Well, let me get now into the real estate. But I started looking at the numbers more and more. And it's like, why do I invest in mobile homes? Because the numbers make sense. Lower risk, okay, higher reward, and the entry is minimal. So why should I focus on one, not the other? Now, I'm not against real estate, but mobile homes are so much easier. Not to mention their personal property. Unless you have land on them, a mobile home is very much like a car, boat, or motorcycle. So closing on these things, I closed on 3 this morning. It took me 10 minutes. Because I've done all my due diligence, checked the titles, and I know they're good. So it's as simple as doing a bill of sale. Here's the money, give me the title keys, and we're done. We're off to the races. Let's rehab them, flip them, whatever we want to do. After year number 1, I didn't want to be a landlord so much. So I decided, what about I'm studying a little bit at this time. What about doing some maybe flips, maybe some rent to owns? I'm looking at all these avenues, and we dived into now, let's do more of a rent to own or lease option. I'm not going to be a landlord because now I'm also going to be a bank, maybe create a note, that sort of thing. So we dived into that and we did transition the rentals into a lease option. We gave the people, our tenants, opportunities. You can own this. Stop renting within 5 years or less, you're going to own it. All of them jumped on board on that immediately. And they lived in the mobile homes already. So it was easy to do. Fast forward a little bit more, we got into doing more of now moving them. One of the beautiful things about mobile homes is that they're mobile. You can move them point A, point B, and just, do what you need to do. We've done Section 8s. We do Section 8s inside of mobile homes. And all this is in communities, by the way. We build terrific relationships with community park owners, park managers, and we do Airbnbs, Section 8s, veteran assistance housing, elderly housing. We started doing weekly rental stays, extended stays, if you will. So it's like, all these are streams of income. And that's when I said getting creative. It's like, what else can I use this mobile home for? We talked about maybe doing business also, which they got offices for that, but it's like more and more creative ways. But it's phenomenal that we can turn a individual into a homeowner in 5 years or less. That's a plus to everything we do is we're constantly giving back. And mobile homes are the last of affordability housing, period. So for some of these end buyers, now I can't speak for Florida numbers. I'm speaking more Alabama, South Carolina, and Georgia. We may be all into some of these mobile homes for 8 to 10,000. That's all in. That's the mobile home. That's the rehab. That's the labor. That's the holding, the utilities. That's all exclusive, 8 to 10 grand. We turn around and sell that same mobile home for market numbers, 20, 25, maybe even 30,000. Most people who buy affordability housing don't have 30K in their pocket. We understand that. Now, mobile homes being personal property, we know that there's no traditional lending. There's no FHA, whatever, all these loans, because they consider, and we reached out to them, to try to convince them to, but they see them as not enough security. Mobile homes can be moved, they can be stolen, they build all these stories, and bottom line is they're not going to lend. That was another opportunity we saw where we thought, well, why don't we be the bank? We'll put it out there on the market. We'll be all in for, let's say, 8 to 10,000. We'll sell it for 30,000, take a $5,000 down payment, and then we'll do the rest on a note per se for the next 4 or 5 years. That'll get obviously the payments in, and they will become homeowners. We've done, we've started doing this as well now with campers, fifth wheels, no RVs. One of the things about, and I've learned over a period of time is like the less risk, the less moving parts, the better. And when we transition into some of these campers and fifth wheels, RVs was one of those where now those have engines, mechanical. I don't want to get involved with that. So, but we currently have a couple of campers that are doing extended stays. One of them is doing lease option, and we got a couple more coming that will be doing Airbnb. So, all in all, it's like, mobile homes have been great to me. It's just the way to go. Like I said, low risk because it's so little of numbers that you have into them, and high rewards because the numbers are there. Compared to, I've taken some of this real estate versus mobile homes. And again, I love it all. But I had a student, I call them students, an investor that came to me. He was proud. He was happy that he had bought a mobile home for a house for around 75,000. He said, I got a great deal. It's in a good market, etc. He was getting into the mobile homes. So I got him to break down the numbers for me. 75K for the house, plus whatever the closing is, which, it's 4-6%, whatever it may be. And then he had to do some type of rehab, remodel, which was around 25,000. So he was all in right around 100,000. Okay. He wanted to be a landlord with that one house. So what he did was he put it on the market with X amount deposit, and he was charging a monthly $1,000 every month. Right. So I took that same number breakdown and thought, 100K for one house. Now, appreciation, real estate, I get it. But I'm thinking return on investments at this moment. 1,000 is what you're collecting every month of 100K. I could put that same 100,000 on 10 different mobile homes, and that's if I do 10K for mobile home. I'm typically 8,000, sometimes even a little less, but we use easy numbers. 10K per mobile home. Okay, that's 10 mobile homes. Now I can't collect 1,000. I get that because the majority of our mobile homes are inside of communities, which there is a lot rent. There's a pad fee every month, and they vary. We always see focus on the markets, try to get markets that are lower. There's more net, that sort of thing. But let's just say $300 is a lot, $300-400. If the rental rates in those areas are $700 or $800, then you would net the difference up. So let's say each of those 10 mobile homes brings me $400 a month. You can see where the numbers returns. A lot of people say, well, mobile homes hold no value. They depreciate. It's like a car. You move it out off the dealership and they immediately drop in value. Who cares if a mobile home somewhere it gets listed for a value of 100,000 or $1 if it brings me $400 every month? You times up by 10 mobile homes, which is the difference in the real estate we're talking about. How much is that going to be a month? How much is that a year? And so much less risk because again, closings, we don't have 4-6%. Florida, I know I use a lot of realtors. There is brokers, but up here in Georgia, realtors want nothing to do with mobile homes. It's fine. I don't need them. We can do due diligence, and we can close on a mobile home by simply transferring the title, which is around $20 or $30. Okay, a lot less of that. At the end of the year, you have taxes. How much do you pay taxes on a house? You know, it varies, obviously. With the mobile homes, it's the same thing: year, make, model, and location. Doing a mobile home is more like re-registering. So same thing like a vehicle. You have a little bitty tag, that yellow thing that, or color number that you put on the tag every year. That's paying taxes. You're re-registering it to keep it in that county. You do the same thing with mobile homes, which is a little bigger. You typically see them all throughout the windows. Some have so many, it looks like a tree, you know, that sort of thing. But that's re-registering. And we're paying anywhere from maybe 60 to 150. It just depends on the mobile home. Again, the year, make, model. So overall, you know, low risk, low entry. I say that over and over. That's what we teach, you know, especially for a new investor. And it doesn't have to be for new investors. It's every investor, entrepreneur wants to add more streams of income. Every investor, every entrepreneur should have mobile homes as a way to create it. You know, with so many options that we do here, and I listed them, it's like, it's a no-brainer. We've wholesaled a few mobile home parks. I'm not opposed to buying mobile home parks. I own a lot more mobile homes than probably some of the biggest mobile home parks itself. And it's, you know, the relationships are there. If the relationship goes south, something happens. Again, the mobile home is mobile. I'm going to move my mobile home out of community A. We don't get along, whatever it may be, and I'm going to take it to community B. Or maybe the lot rent is too high on community A, and we see that sometimes. I'm going to go ahead and move it down the street to another community. So those are options that you can't really do with the house. Okay. And I'm not knocking real estate again, but you know, so many opportunities are there for the investors. So I can keep rambling on. You know, I didn't really prepare any real speech. We got a big event coming. So more so wanted to come on here and share a little bit about mobile homes. You know, can talk about a lot more. If anybody has any questions,
This is Charlene. I have a question. Could you say what you think about the mobile home and the tiny home? That's what I'm wondering about.
the differences?
Yeah, or similarities.
Similarities, they're both small. Depends on how small the mobile home is. But now, okay, so tiny houses. The tiny houses are technically not affordable in a sense that they're not considered for that. We've seen and priced some of those tiny houses. We talk about taking them up to the mountains, treat them like little cabins kind of. And I mean, some of those tiny houses are 40, 60, 80,000 or more. So it just depends what you're trying to do. You know, when I think of the investing in mobile homes, it's trying to stay at the lowest number possible and trying to get the most ROI.
Okay.
I think there's a question in the chat. What are your views on buying land, making pads and renting the lot, passive income with no tenants or maintenance at all?
One more time.
What are your views on buying land, making the pad and renting just the lot, passive income with no tenants, maintenance, or I guess mobile home on them?
That is a great question. So that's going to trigger me into something else. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm not opposed to land. It's just a responsibility. You know, if the mobile home on a community, you know, anything on the mobile home inside the community, that's my responsibility. Anything outside the mobile home, if it's on the land or the post or that's the community's job. So I don't have to worry about that. If I buy land, now I am a landlord and obviously I own that. So any problems with the septic or that sort of thing would be my responsibility, not to scare away anybody, but definitely something you can do. I mean, you could actually treat it like a community park, buy the land, put the mobile home on there, rent it for a couple of years, maybe do a lease option later on the mobile home itself, whatever it can sell for. When they pay you off the mobile home, maybe you can do a lease option on the land. So, you know, continue or just keep the land forever and have them paying a lot rent every month. So, you know, we have an investor over in Mesa, Arizona. And when you think about the mobile homes depreciate, do they depreciate? Absolutely. It's personal property. Okay. The mobile home in itself, especially in the community, is not going to grow in value. Now, if you take that same mobile home and you put it on a piece of real estate, okay, private land that you bought has to be zoned for mobile homes, you can actually convert that mobile home from personal property to real property. You would do what's called retire the title and you make it part of the deed. The beautiful thing about that is like now, once you convert from personal to real property, the value goes up. The mobile home now appreciates because it's considered real estate. You can actually comp it with same square footage, same type of rooms, etc., to almost real estate. So what our gentleman, Mr. Anthony, does in Mesa, Arizona, is he says, I'll buy land. It has to be zoned for mobile homes out of tax sales, etc. And I'll go find the ugliest mobile home I can find, and then I'll move it onto the property. So what he does is, let's say he gets a piece of land for 10K, finds a mobile home for $500, moves it in for another 3K. Okay, he's at 13.5, and he does a rehab. Let's say he's all in for 20,000, set and done. He can actually then convert it into real property and comp it for whatever's in the market. Let's say houses of those sizes are going in that area for 100,000. Can he comp that mobile home on a piece of land to that house? Yes, he can. So that's how he's able to make the value, is he grows the value overnight by transitioning it from personal to real property.
Hey, Zach, can you talk a little bit about how due diligence, or how you actually make sure it's clear title?
Absolutely. And here we got to do it because there is no there's no realtors, brokers. I don't want them, nothing against them, but it's like they get in my way and they slow me down a little bit. So so when you're doing a due diligence for a mobile home, it's basically checking the title. You know, when some of these end buyers or somebody trying to sell us a mobile home, one of the first questions we ask is, do you have a title? If the answer is no, then we need to know why there's no title. You know, it could be at a mortgage, you know, or may have a lien on it or something within those lines. So we need to figure out. We can use a lot of systems that are publicly. One of them, I think it works in Florida as well, qpublic.net. You can actually find all the information, year, make, model, VIN number. Again, treat this like a car, because when it comes to a closing, that's how you're going to focus on it. It's going to be like a vehicle. That's what you're closing. The closings do not happen at a realtor broker's firm somewhere. It happens at the DMV or tax successors tag department. All you're doing is transferring the title. So, but checking for lien is the biggest thing. If the mobile home owner has not paid taxes after 1 year, like I said, re-registering it, there's a fine that goes with it, same as a car would. And in year number 2, let's say he or she doesn't pay for it again. Typically, most states we've seen, counties, after 2 years, they'll take that mobile home and they'll put it on the tax sale. So you also want to call the counties, wherever the mobile home is at, and ask them, you know, I'm looking to buy this mobile home and just want to make sure the taxes are up to date. Counties will tell you immediately, yes, if they think they're getting paid, let you know what the balance is. Some of that could be online as well. So liens on the title, missing title, and taxes, I would say, are the biggest things you need to check. After that, I mean, the due diligence on the mobile home itself, that's the physical part.
Anybody else have any questions?
Yes, Jose, I like that. Take it to your land part. And then what's the thing with the electric and the water and the sewer? How do you do that?
Well, if it's a piece of land, I mean, you would obviously want to develop it same as you would for a house. Now, for that's a call. You know, I always say that's where you want to call the city and get with the building department, building inspectors. They're going to let you know what's required more so in the county. Every county is different. Some counties, even though it may be a certain parcel, real estate may be a zone for mobile homes, does not mean you can bring just any mobile home. So they may say, well, it has to be a double wide, which is 2 single wides put together, basically, or it has to have a pitched roof or certain size or sort of things. And when you start getting into that, well, then it may need a bigger septic or just specific. So doing, you know, you're developing land at that point is definitely something to check with the building inspector.
Okay.
Hey, Jose, how did you get into actually moving them? Like that's a whole different, that sounds like a whole different business. And I see you always out there like on Facebook or whatever, moving them from one spot or one state. How'd you get
Liking
into
them
that?
down. So we work with a lot of community operators, owners, you know, they're like operators or park managers. And one of the services that we help them with is, you know, if you have vacant pads in a community, that's not making you money. That's costing you money. So we want to maximize every community possible. And when they have empty pads, that's where we can find them inventory. that we can bring into the community. So it more so started working like as a service, as we would wholesale the homes to them. And now to, just taking on the private land, or we never like to pull mobile homes out of one community to take them to another unless they have to have it gone. Just, steal from one to fix the other. That doesn't kind of work out. But just one of those many ways of what's another stream of income, passive income. What else can we do? Trying to get creative. Before we got the Airbnbs, Section 8s, it was let's transport them. They're mobile after all. So that's how we got into that.
Hey, Jose, is there like a sweet spot in terms of years that you want to try and identify for the best value overall?
Good question. Yes, sir. So 1976, I believe it was April or May of 1976 and under, mobile homes were considered pre-HUD. Pre-HUD can't really be moved on the road now, but based on DOT rule regulation. So, when you're thinking about investing like we do in a community, you don't want to be finding yourself, investing in maybe a 1960 model, and then everything goes south with the community and you can't really move it out. So I would say the better years to be around, maybe late 80s, mid 90s. And if you can get in the 2000s, even better. 3 2s, by the way. If you're going to invest in mobile homes, like a house, the more rooms, the more square footage, the better it is. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single wides are the best, even over double wides. Double wides are great. People love them. They're bigger of a house sometimes, but it's, double wides tend to be a lot of times double the rehab, double the work, double the expense, but it's not always double the profits. So.
Great, thanks.
I have a couple more things. So, and I'm going to speak from Florida because I know you're up in Georgia, but Florida, we have a lot of they were the vacation homes or the whatever, but now they've really become affordable housing. The lot rents are still pretty high, anywhere from 700 to 1,000. But we're seeing because we started talking a while ago and I was like, hey, that's pretty good. We can pick them up cheap, do a quick rehab. But now we're seeing where the mobile homes here are, they've just jumped dramatically. Whereas they're selling, 1983 mobile homes for $100,000 plus a lot rent. So that's just one of the trends we're seeing here. I don't know about Maryland. I know there's some parks up in Maryland, but a lot of these folks are from the Maryland area, but that's one thing. And then just for everybody else, insurance wise, that we hear that down in Florida that they're hard to insure. Nobody will insure. We can't even insure a house in Florida nowadays with the hurricanes. So how do you combat that? And do you make your renters have the insurance, renters insurance, or?
Absolutely, and I'm well familiar with the with the market numbers down in Florida. We have a few RTOs, rent-to-owns in Venice Beach, Lake City, Gainesville, Lakeland. So I don't go any further than that. It starts getting too much California numbers, is what I call it. So you stay away from those. But there's always deals. There's always somebody selling. I'm not like a coach here, but branding, marketing, advertising. Get the off-market deals is the way to go. They're out there. As far as insurance, yeah, it's definitely harder in Florida because of the tornadoes and that sort of thing. But I'd be happy to share a number with you. Chris Franco, he's one of our agents. We actually have him speaking at our events, and he does insure mobile homes in the whole Southeast, including Florida. So yeah, absolutely. Protect your assets is the way I see it. And when it's a rental, either we put insurance, the tenant does, they make us part of the policy. But yes, the mobile home has to have insurance at all times.
Everybody's being shy again tonight. It's got the king here. You gotta ask questions if you have them.
Yeah, real quick, I have a 7-step to your first deal or multiply your deals, similar to real estate in many ways, and we coach this. I'm not selling any programs on here. We do have a big event. It's called Shadow J for a Day. And that's where I take a group of serious investors that want to multiply or get into mobile home investing. That's actually coming up this Saturday. And it's, step by step. Step number 1 is getting leads. The best off-market deals happens from obviously a lot of times people that didn't even realize they could sell their mobile homes. Talking to sellers. In mobile homes, there's 3 types of sellers. park owner or operator, park manager, and direct seller. Direct seller could be a wholesaler, investor, or somebody that lives in the mobile. How you approach each one is very differently. Park owners are the easiest, park managers are the most difficult, and direct sellers tend to be, like real estate. They think their mobile home is worth the most. So that can be a challenge. Offering maximum allowed offer. The biggest mistake I would say, if one of a few that investors make, especially new investors, is they overpay for a mobile home. Somebody wanted 20K, you offered 18, they took it, that's slight negotiation. That doesn't make it a good deal. So we teach on how to evaluate a mobile home based on the market numbers, ARVs, rentals, lot rents, etc., so that we come up with a number to an actual as-is fixer-upper mobile home. Hiring contractors, all of y'all here, I'm sure, on real estate, and whether you're in real estate or mobile homes, one of the hardest tasks, if you ask a veteran, is never going to be, I can't find a house or I can't find a buyer. It's typically always the contractor. He didn't show up, he did this, he didn't do that, so it's how you hire a contractor is all key. Interviews, holding them accountable, and how you pay them. How we pay our contractors is never by the hour or salary. You want to convert an individual late to a lazy individual, pay them hourly, pay them salary. What should took 5 minutes is taking them an hour. Why? Because they get paid the same. So what we do is we pay by the job. If you have to fix the roof, that's one job. You got to come in the mobile home and fix the walls. That's another job. Flooring, that's another job, and it goes that way. So what happens is, and we're talking to contractors, you can actually get paid every day. See, now there's a little urgency because who doesn't like to get paid every day? But it's all how you break those. We never pay up front. Material is another thing. You can't just run to Home Depot or Lowe's. And I know in Florida, y'all do have mobile home stores. They have a few in South Carolina as well. Mobile home, I forget one of them. It's pretty big. But a lot of times it's getting creative, finding a lot of this off market and a lot of these sites, Craigslist, Let Go, Offer, Classified, Salvation Army, you got to get creative. You got to have a team for that. And then strategies, obviously selling. You don't come up with an exit strategy after you invest in a mobile home. You find which exit strategies the market where you want to invest in on the mobile home is going to allow you based on the numbers. In certain markets, I know the lot rent's too high. I don't want to be a landlord, but I can flip them. I can wholesale them. Maybe I can infill. So you start focusing on those as well. I like markets and communities where I have options. If I choose to wholesale or rent, or, I know I can do the above. Closings and documents, that's huge. That's the legal side up. And even though in Florida, y'all have brokers and realtors, attorneys, you don't need them. It's very simple to simply call the county, check on the things that I mentioned, and make sure that it's up to par. Once you check those things out, it's as simple as buying a vehicle, if you will. And then getting into land packages, and then getting into mobile home parks. And, so we teach all this, and, it's step by step is what we do.
It's very remote, like it is real estate in the same regards because you're doing all the same stuff. Single family still has the same problem with the contractors, and all the same issues, all the same everything. It's just it's a better ROI for everything that you're doing with less money out of pocket.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about any investment, it's like, how can I lower the risk? Well, one way is have less money into it. If something goes down, I've had losses. Losses teach me to not do that again. You can't keep making the same mistake over and over. But if I lose that on 10,000, it's $10,000. It's not a couple $100,000. So just learn better from that. So a lot less risk.
Yes, indeed. Carlin, good to have you here. Any questions?
Thank you. It's great to be here. Yeah, I mean, I guess like if you were just to get started in mobile home investing, what would you say for somebody who's just beginning to go into that field to look for specifically?
I would say, sound like a book, is educate yourself as much as you can. Obviously, in that one, learn the markets first. Learn what the lot rents are in that area. Learn what the rental rates are in the area, so you know what the split profits are. Learn what the ARVs are, after repair values, and then focus on the mobile home. When we target new markets, they say, well, this is what I have. It's a single wide. I don't care about the mobile. Let me focus on the numbers, and if the numbers make sense, it's just another mobile home. The rehab on a mobile home is a lot easier than stick built. Now, I can't answer this for Florida, but we don't need permits, inspections here to rehab mobile homes. And I mean, some of these we are gutting them. So we're adding an extra room, taking walls down, just what we need. They are very simple to rehab. And again, it's so much quicker.
So that's interesting. So I guess then talk a little bit more about geography then. So I'm up in the Northeast, I'm in Connecticut. Would it make sense to look in a different market, depending on regulations and what's more desirable?
So we're not up there yet. Currently cover the whole Southeast, South North Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, and of course, Georgia, where we're out of. Dipped into Mississippi and Texas, Arizona, blazing hot markets. I can't wait to be there, hopefully by the end of this year. So I can't answer in your area. And, a lot of these mobile homes, there's differences. There's also wind zones. So like in Florida, and maybe stronger, more durable before. I don't know your numbers. You have to focus on your numbers. I don't think you would have to go elsewhere. Now, I do coach a few investors out of California that, yes, I tell them don't invest in California, invest here instead. So I actually teach them how to virtually invest in Georgia, Alabama, because the numbers just make sense. Same with New York. I've told them invest down here, but Virginia, I know it's a hot area, and I don't know where you're at. Jersey can be, just depends. But again, do the research on the numbers first.
Yeah, that's interesting. So sorry, I don't want to take up everybody's time. Just another quick question then. So doing like out-of-state investing in general, like what kind of property manager are you using? The same type of property managers? Like how are you dealing with that? I mean, I would imagine you'd want to be boots on the ground here and there, but sight unseen, all that. Well, what's your recommendation?
No, absolutely. You got to have somebody, bird dog investor. To us, is typically the community park manager. They're already on site. Some of them live in the community. Most community managers, they don't make a whole lot of, if you will. So giving them extra little duties here. And of course, this is where the relationship is great with the park operator. They don't mind us hiring the manager here and there where we can. And they are the best boots on the ground, and they know the markets. They know everybody, the community. We don't have to go after deals. Typically, today I got a couple calls from Miss Rhonda. She's awesome. Jay, they're selling a couple mobile homes here probably in the next month. I know the people are leaving. So, we get deals coming from that.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. And then do you have somebody who kind of goes and kind of cross-references, like a secret shopper, if you will, make sure they're kind of doing their job the right way?
Not really. I mean, it's nothing extreme because we're not landlords. There's no hands-on over, if you will. I mean, lease options, we are the bank. You don't call the bank talking about leaky toilets. So, I'm a mortgage. You pay the mortgage. If something breaks, you fix it. So they're not as manageable. And there's a big difference between rental mentality and own a home mentality. People that come in with a larger down payment, they're going to own them a home. They tend to take care of it a little bit better.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Jose,
It's a great
we're looking-
platform here.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
yes,
wanted
sir.
to wait to see if anybody else had a question, but when you are looking at parks to either move a home into or purchase a home in, occupancy obviously is critical, or else, you're not going to make any money, right? So is there a way that you decide, wow, this park is only 60% full, so even if I buy one here, my chances of renting are not very good, or leasing it are not very good? Or is there a way to measure that, or it's just, anything goes?
So in real estate, y'all have Zillow, Trulia, FMLS, all the fancy sites is what I'll call. And when it comes to mobile homes, we have Craigslist, Let Go, OfferUp, Classified, Facebook. So what we do is if I want to get into a new market is I will post ads and kind of test the market. We'll go on there and put a couple, hey, we have a couple mobile homes coming available within the next month, maybe available for sale, offer financing or rentals. And let's see what kind of interaction we get out of that. So some communities may be run down just because the management is doing a poorly job, or the park operator unfortunately doesn't really care. But it does not mean it's a bad market.
Okay, great, thanks.
That reminded me of one other question. So how do you combat the, do you put them all in your name or your company's name, or how many can you have? Or because there's credit things and you can only have 3 and all that stuff that goes on.
I don't have anything in my name, not even my cars. So, personal property, it's LLCs, and I'm not the most knowledgeable in that, but never put a mobile home in your personal name. Never put so many in one LLC in case you do get sued. There's only maybe 5 or 10 in one. Typically, the breakdown is rentals get an LLC, lease options get a different LLC. Airbnb is just transitions on which one it may be. Different states is different. I don't know how many y'all can sell at one time before you have to get a dealer's license, but it's all how you word it and you put it on the documents. Technically, we're not selling anything until it's paid off, if it's a lease option or if it's a rental. So I don't have a license to do this. There's no need for me to do it, not where I'm doing it.
So when you go in to buy one, do you have to fill out an application just like everybody else would with, credit scores? And I guess that's what I'm getting at. How do you get around?
You're talking about for the communities?
Yeah, for the communities that have that.
When I first started, yes, they would make me do a background like everybody else. Now, I've been blessed. We built quite a bit of credibility. We're everywhere. So, it's like how you approach it makes a big difference. I'm an investor. I'm here to do this. I'm here to do that. That's one way to approach it. The way we approach it is more so, what can we do for you? Here's how we can make it, valuable for both of us, what we can provide you with. So most times they don't really need us to do any type of backgrounds.
Okay, and that's what I was getting at. It's more about the relationships, because I know down here we've had a couple people that they go in and they, don't say they're an investor, and then they try to smooth around that, and that doesn't work out for them. They haven't filled out the application and they know they're flipping it anyway, so this doesn't turn out well. And sometimes if you're on the up and up, I've heard investors down here that you just tell them what's up, they'll actually give them a few months on the lot rent. So they'll just waive that just so that, because they know at the end of the day, they're gonna make that house beautiful. Another person's gonna move in. It's not gonna be the trashy one sitting in the middle of the complex.
Yeah, that's where you add value. These park managers and these park operators, if they've had a rundown mobile home sitting there for a year, they're not going to jump on that mobile home. It's just become part of the community. That's just the way it is. So when you come in, adding value works both ways. I'm willing to take the responsibility, rehab it, and start making you lot rents for months and years to come. But I would need 2-3 months to, let me get started and get situated, if you will. So relationships.
So this is Nicole, and as a property owner, as a park owner, we don't generally have problems with people coming in to take up some of the older homes and rehab them. But if you're going to sell them on an owner finance or a lease option, we are going to want to underwrite who you're lease optioning to make sure that they continue to pay not only you, but us. So do you find that very often?
Yeah,
That
no,
they're
that
going to do some screening on who you want to who you want to sell to?
absolutely. So we use systems ourselves, but it doesn't matter who buys from us or who rents. Anybody over the age of 18 does have to have a nationwide credit search and criminal, because we want to know who's in the community. Some park operators say we'll do it ourselves and just share with you, or vice versa. So they have, and we're not taking over. So park operators can deny somebody if they think that's trouble on some there, and it is what it is. We got to work like a team. As far as making the payments, the way we set up our agreements is we do it together, the lot rent and the home payment, if you will. So during that time frame when this buyer is paying us every month, every year, however long it takes, we're actually going to pay the lot rent directly to make sure it gets paid.
Jose, this is Charlene again. With the rehab, do you ever do the external rehab where you make it look like a house?
No, not really.
Okay.
We'll add a new roof if it needs it. We'll paint the outside if it needs it. But we make them livable, presentable. If it's not broken, we don't fix it.
Okay.
Anybody else? I think we all have a hard stop at 8:25. Jose, how can they get a hold of you if they want any more information?
Absolutely. You just want me to put it on the chat, my email?
Yeah, be great.
I'll put my website as well. So,
And we appreciate you spending time with us. I know you have a lot to do. You just got off a live on Instagram and several other meetings we were both part of. So I think you're the hardest working guy I know. And we appreciate you being here.
no, absolutely. Thank you for having me. So yeah, next time, if you have me again, I'll be a little more prepared, maybe show y'all some examples of rehabs and that sort of thing to, kind of, and even though we're not on some of these states like Carlene, I know mentioned, we do have connections everywhere. Part of the networking and coaching investors is there's investors out of everywhere. I mean, I've coached probably most states in the US because mobile homes are nationwide. Every state has mobile homes and every state has a need for affordability housing, except for California. Don't go there. But everything else, it's definitely a go.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you back. You can count on it.
I'll be there.
Anybody else have any other questions unrelated to mobile homes or related or anything else?
Want to say
Well, we-
thank you. This was great. This was
Oh,
really
thanks,
educational.
Carly. Absolutely.
Thank you. Appreciate everybody being here. Any other questions?
What are you guys doing next week?
Next week, I think we're building your team with property managers and agents. Probably going to try to get one of each to just pop on to see some of the mistakes that we as investors make when we're trying to get them on board. Haven't got any commitments. If not, you'll have me and Sharon.
All right, I'm trying to type in your email address if people want to get in touch with you. Hopefully I'll type it properly. Are you okay if people just email you with questions and stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime.
Okay. You guys want to cut and paste that to get in touch with Jane or her partner Sharon, who is away this week, please feel free to do so.
And if you want to check out the website, Virtual REI Academy, like I said, we have documents on there. We have a bunch of free stuff. So we're just trying to add value and make sure everybody's successful in this game of real estate.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. Thanks again, Jose. Thanks everybody for being here, and we'll see you next Tuesday, same time, same bat channel.
Thanks,
Yeah, have a
Jose.
good night.
Bye.
You. Good night.